Thank you so much, everybody that has joined us for this event. We really appreciate you from KCB Bank. And that's why today again marks a very significant day. KCB is here again. We are partnering with various stakeholders just to ensure that we continue to give you excellent service, and we'll take you through that in the program with the different stakeholders that we have today. I'd like to now invite the Chief of Party and Head of KCB Foundation, Caroline Kehara, to give her welcome remarks and the project overview.
The Boda Boda Association, Mpo. Wave by hand, I see you're here, you're represented. Thank you very much. So this is looking at having a sustainable Boda Boda running business. It's been proved from surveys that have been done that Boda Boda riders earn less than $10. We want to see how we can change that narrative and have more money into the Boda Boda riders, but at the same time protect our environment. The Boda Boda sector provides 1 million direct jobs. If you look at our numbers as a country, that tells you that's about 1 billion on a daily day. They're a very important part of our economy. Together they support 6 million livelihoods. They have to put food and something to drink for 6 million livelihoods, and that's 10% of the Kenya's population. So it's a sector that can definitely not be ignored. In terms of price, most motorbikes are exorbitant, and we asked ourselves as big institutions with big muscle, what can we do? How can we come in and make it affordable and even reduce the cost by bringing all the partners, all the stakeholders that are involved together? So motorbikes contribute 8.6 million tons of carbon dioxide that's released into the environment. And you know what that means? That means that it is capable of causing 1,942 deaths annually. If you look behind you, I think we are about 100 in this setup. That tells you in a year, everybody who is here could easily die if we don't do something about it. That's how serious it is. And so the solution for us, and that's why this program is very important for us as a KCB group and at the foundation. One, we want to support conversion to electric motorcycles by 70% by the year 2028. It's an ambitious goal. It will take us working together with all partners. That's why national government is represented here. That's why the county government is represented here. And that's why the very many of you who are here are very critical, because it's not something that can be done by one person. As a bank, we are the regional powerhouse. And together, working in this partnership, we know we'll be able to provide an affordable financing product, which we've already developed for this particular venture. And there together, we hope to generate 1.5 million green jobs. And the key word here is green jobs. So the e-mobility pilot project really is looking at creating green jobs for Boda Boda sector, but at the same time introducing sustainability to e-mobility. It's a partnership between KCB Foundation, KCB Bank, and UNITA, which is United Nations Institute for Training and Research. KCBF is the social investment arm for the group. We work on youth, and we work by enhancing their skills. And we hope to do this in the Boda Boda sector. If you look at the Boda Boda sector, we have a lot of youth who are working in there. And we're looking to see how we can increase capacity through training to make them better business persons. We have a commercial product that is the Boda Boda and Tuk Tuk riders, and together we work together and we're able to coin a green product that is more affordable to help us make this shift. We have our partner, UNITA. UNITA is United Nations Institute for Training and Research. And this is one of the dedicated training arms of United Nations mission. The mandate is to help member states develop the capacities of individuals, organizations, and institutions to enhance global decision making. So as part of highlights, I mentioned this is a project that cannot be done alone. So we have national government at the center of it. We have the county government at the center of it. And for this particular launch, we have 3 counties. We have Kajiado County, and we have the Deputy Governor here today with us. We have Nairobi County, and we have Machakos County. And equally, we have representatives from each of those counties. It's a 6-month pilot. We like in the foundation to test, learn, repeat again and again until we are sure. So we want to do this on a test land. So we are doing a 6-month pilot, which will start from October. We're actually supposed to start from September, but we'll start from October, ending into March 2023. And during this time, we'll be testing user acceptability, because you'll appreciate that electric motorbikes is a new concept that is catching up. It's catching up in the continent. Kenya is catching up, and that's why it was important I read that clip, so that we do not think that it's something new. And also the product feasibility. Working together with the county government of Machakos, where we did, where UNITA was able to do a small feasibility survey, just to show that there's actually a need and it is possible. So we have Machakos, Kajiado, Nairobi, National Environment Trust Fund, Net Fund, and various ministries at national government. We have National Treasury coming in very critical, because for this sector to succeed, tax incentives and policies around raw materials that involve electric motorbikes is very critical. Through this, we expect to generate green jobs and promote sustainability. But most importantly, which is at the heart of UNITA, is to promote peace and cohesion. And that's one of their biggest mandates. You realize every time we get into an election period, the easiest mob, I'll call it mob, the easiest group to mobilize and cause violence are the people who are in the boda sector. So we want to change that narrative. And we believe that if there's no money in the pocket, then people will not allow themselves to be manipulated. So this is very much well aligned in terms of where we are going globally, and even as a government. In terms of global warming mitigation, a lot of obligations in COP26 that was done at Glasgow. There were a lot of commitments that were done. As a bank, we've also made our own commitment in terms of net zero emission. Clean Vehicle Directive, I know it has not come home, but very soon we'll start seeing this. Countries like Rwanda have already started putting in directives. So we will get there, and we hope that through this pilot, we can start getting ourselves market ready. In terms of government, if you look at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, again, very clear. One of the things that came out from the executive order was that there will be setup of electronic vehicle charging infrastructure in urban areas and along highways. So we are looking to work closely to make sure that we can support that as a bank. Give financial and tax incentives to PSVs and commercial transporters to convert to electronic vehicles. Make the Hustler Fund available to boda sector. So this was very exciting, and as a bank, we are working to see how we can work together, and because our best skill is in lending, to see how we can be able to work around with the boda sector. Again, very much in line with the SDGs that we subscribe to as a bank. We subscribe into 9 SDGs. And most importantly, one of the ones that will make very, very active there is climate action, which is SDG number 13, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. We have another piece that we are working with the United Nations organizations that deals with drug and crime. And we hope that this can tie the loop to make sure that we make SDG 13 and SDG 16 very active. And of course, partnerships, because as I said, this is not something that we can do by ourselves. So these are the roles and the responsibilities of the different partners. We have our retail division led by our group, our director, retail, Anastasia Kimutai, who also happens to sit in the board of trustees for KCB Foundation. And through this, we've worked together. We've worked on a product. We have a very, as a bank, we have a very strong relationship with Boda Association, and that's why you can see they're represented here today. They will help us sign up vendors. I think we already have 4 that we have signed up, but we'll be looking to look at more who are in that area, and we'll be providing the lending. And we've tried to work together to make sure that the lending is also very affordable. At the foundation, we will continue doing what we are good at through our flagship program to Jiajiri. We will be training the Boda riders, make them become business owners, run their business. They start doing simple things, even keeping their books of accounts, even doing their returns, basic things that make you attractive even to the banking sector. So a lot of increasing financial literacy and entrepreneurship. We also hope to work with government so that we can also involve the police force, see what training is needed, what capacity is needed, But most importantly, and coming in strong with UNITA, who are very strong in policy support and all that, see what it is we can do around policy on e-mobility in this country. UNITA will lead in training materials and development. They will lead in peace and security trainings, which I said they're good at. They will support us in de-risking the product and financial monitoring and evaluation of the work that has been done, and the bit of policy support which has been left there. So after this, actually, this is the time the work starts, because from here we need to start now having very deep engagements with the relevant parties, national government, the different ministries that are involved, so that we can have everything in place. I know in the last public finance, when they announced, when the CS Treasury announced, he did propose a few incentives around this area. We need to just make sure that that is implemented and that it works. Around the raw materials, the importation, VAT, all that, there was a proposal to waive all that. Then implementation, we will do the agreement signing with the vendors, which, you know, our retail will be very critical in mapping out all the vendors that are currently doing that. There's a process which I'm sure the chief guest who's representing the PS will mention. There's a process of certification and authorization that happens from National Treasury and the Ministry of Industrialization that needs to happen for you to be authorized. But we'll be looking there to even interest potential business owners and not to go the direction of quail business, but just to interest people and tell them that there's an opportunity that's coming in and people can play in there. Then the next thing is that we'll be doing monitoring and evaluation just to confirm the impact of the program, customer service review, product performance review, and training effectiveness review, and that we hope to end by March 2023, and so that 2023 April we can start aggressive resource mobilization. And that's why you realize today we don't have a lot of our donors here. We need to have shown that, because that's a critical journey for them. And we will set up resource mobilization for scale up. I know we've started doing something on the green climate funds, but it is work in progress. Then we commit more vendors, training plans amplified, and product reviewed. And from there we go on.
I'm delighted again to join us here today as we roll out the pilot of electronic motorcycles that change both the socio-economic and ecological landscape of our country. But I want to take a moment to speak about an important lever that is the bedrock of this particular initiative, and that is the objective of catalyzing job and wealth creation, especially among the youth 18 to 35, women and persons living with disabilities, by giving them access to dignified and meaningful work in response to the high unemployment rates that we are seeing in the country today. And as such, as a foundation, we have strategically designed a lot of our initiatives and programs to achieve this. Our flagship program is dubbed Tujiajiri, which was launched way back in 2016. And it seeks to formalize the informal sector and increase employability within this particular sector. Through Tujiajiri, we provide vocational and technical training, which typically runs for 3 to 6 months, followed by which we offer business development services through a 12 to 18-month incubation period, where we take these businesses or these blossoming businesses through a whole host of entrepreneurial skills, including setting up a business, registration, marketing, all manner of legal understanding, financial management, in particular bookkeeping, filing of taxes, and all of that. And once these businesses are ready, we are then able as a bank to provide access to capital. And finally, we work with these businesses as well to create market linkages for these new and existing micro enterprises. And this program targets a lot of the unemployed and also out of school youth in a bid to empower them so that they can get into self-employment. And as a foundation, we're very proud because to date we have skilled over 16,000 youth. We have provided over 540 million in loans to the youth to kickstart these enterprises. We have created about 64,186 jobs directly and another 35,000 or so indirectly. And we also have a number of businesses which are still in incubation at the bank as we speak. Wanjeri talked about a study that had been done that showed the size of this opportunity. The border sector representing the 1 million jobs she spoke about, supporting 6 million livelihoods, which represents about 10% of the country's population. And while these drivers or riders earn less than $10 a day, their value translates to roughly 60 million yearly in government revenue, taxes, levies, and other charges. And devolution has significantly enhanced the economic potential of counties and eased access and flow of goods and services. As such, there is a huge potential and opportunity for e-motorbikes to soar. And this goes to show that this subsector has extensive potential in providing a livelihood for the youth and reducing this unemployment rate in the country, which sits at the center of our ambitions as far as sustainability at KCB is concerned. So we have taken this very structured program and approach with Uniter and other partners, and we will continue to monitor through this pilot how it goes. In fact, one of our program implementation philosophies is to test through a pilot like this, to learn and then to scale. So we are excited about what we will understand through this particular pilot, and we are geared up and ready to scale and make a significant difference across the entire country.
I want to thank KCB for initiating this project. The much support that the boda sector is supporting our country, and especially the young people who are in search of jobs. We all know that Kenya is among countries in the region that the unemployment rate is so high. And so the boda sector has played a critical and very important role in ensuring that our young people have something to do to support themselves, their families, and the community. Right now, we are facing the effects of climate change. We are now, like Kajiado, experiencing one of the longest droughts. And this is because of climate change. So having e-motorbikes that ensures that our environment is safe, we really appreciate. We really appreciate. It will be a game changer in our country and even in the region.
Climate change is here right now, and unless urgent and immediate steps are taken to address the situation, we may reach a point of no return. What kind of world we want to leave behind for future generations is entirely up to us. Each and every one of you here today stand testament that we are not sitting silently while the adverse effects of climate change ravage our planet. No country today, or no person for that matter, can claim that they are insulated from the effects of climate change. We are no more divided along the lines of developed and developing countries. Recent developments such as the worldwide increase in flooding, wildfires, droughts, all show that nature is reacting to our destructive past and present. The war between Ukraine and Russia showed us all how vulnerable our economies are to troubles in far-off lands. We are all connected today, one big global village, and this is why it is imperative that as citizens of this world, we all play our part in bringing about the change that is critically needed. As Struckmart Africa, we are proud to have been working on adopting renewable energy over the last few years. The Fika Mobility Project was conceived almost 5 years ago, and we have spent the last few years conducting extensive field trials so as to ensure that our final product meets all environmental and quality parameters. The Fika bike that you see here today has been thoroughly tested against all applicable terrain and weather-related challenges across Kenya, and our research and development department has continuously fine-tuned the bike to ensure that all standards are met or exceeded including but not limited to up to 95% reduction in CO2 emissions and up to 50% saving on running costs when compared to internal combustion engines. We feature an optimal 72-volt lithium battery charging with incorporated fast battery swap system. The battery can be charged with a home kit also, and we are also developing various systems that will tie in to the battery, for example, to be used as an inverter, etc. Those are still innovations which we are working on. One of the key things we have built in is safety protocols to make sure that in case of any collisions or accidents, we don't experience things like fires. At all times there is a trigger mechanism that makes sure that the rider is kept safe at all times. We have built-in telemetry in the battery with real-time GPS tracking coupled with a mobile app to allow for real-time tracking and other life statistics such as location, speed, distance covered, battery discharge, etc. The bike currently features an optimal 100-kilometer range with a top speed of 95 kilometers per hour. As part of our corporate responsibility, we have ensured that Fika e-mobility is not only limited to the selling of electric bikes. We have set up an entire ecosystem which will support our product from the ground up whilst empowering men, women and the local economy in general. Some of the measures we have put in place include setting up of local swap kiosks. These are hybrid with solar and local mains charging for reduced costs and higher profits. We are mainly targeting women entrepreneurs to run these kiosks as our commitment towards women empowerment in Kenya. We are setting up of training centers. We are active stakeholders with bodies such as KNCCI who are in discussion with the government on implementation of curriculum geared towards support of EVs at TVETs across the country. In the meantime, we have our own in-house training program geared towards assembly and maintenance of EVs. We have been conducting and engaging Boda Boda SACCOs and having field trials with them across the country with the aim of incorporating their experience and views into our R&D process. This not only familiarizes them with the technology, but also allows us to fine-tune our products to achieve market expectation. We would like to acknowledge the support of KCB, UNITAR and other stakeholders for their unwavering support towards the implementation and growth of green energy in Kenya. We have planted a seed today. It may look like a small step right now, but one which will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. Let us build a better world together.
We have done the development of the bike. What we have here is one of the prototypes, and it's a process that's taken about 5 years. And in a nutshell, it gives you a range of 100 kilometers on a single charge. And for those people who might like a breakdown of the numbers, just to give an example, like out of the studies we did, is an observation that an average boda person does about 100 kilometers per day. A few of them exceed that, but in average they do 100 kilometers. So right from the word go, from the design, some of the factors we are considering is a question of the price point, the question of the range or the distance they cover in a day, what prices, how do you make the payment for that bike, how do you get the spare parts for the bike, and also at the same time, how do you charge that bike? And we had to address those as key basic points. So you don't have pollution in terms of emissions of gases, of exhaust gases. So in a nutshell, it becomes much easier to run, much cheaper to run, much cheaper to maintain, it's safer, and you also get it with clean environment.
Switching to electric mobility, it brings a lot of opportunities for the riders, for the environment, we mentioned it. But I want also to stress the fact that this is a whole opportunity for the whole economy in Kenya. We are talking about youth entrepreneurs that will be able to join the sector, and the jobs that we will create are tremendous over the economy. Our goal at Stima is to train people and have them train all the people so that we are able all together to build the whole ecosystem for electric mobility here in Kenya. And let's make it a bit more ambitious, have Kenya be the hub of electric mobility in East Africa.
As we are coming together to bring this product, the partners, the donors and the stakeholders, let's also come together to support the association on road safety sensitization, because there is no need we come together to bring these motorcycles to go and kill the people that we want to support. So it is better, once as we are coming together to bring the motorcycles to the riders, let's also come together to support them and train them on matters of road safety, because these things are killing our young people at a very high rate.
I must say, going green is the way to the future. Looking at the cost of fuel currently in the country and across the globe, this is the most important solution that we need to bring to our people. And I want to applaud the various stakeholders that have come up with this very innovative product. My only request would be that we cascade this now, from now the national platform, all the way to the local areas, in our villages, in our small towns, so that our young men and women who are riding boda and who are driving the economy of this country can be able to take advantage of this very important facility.
KCB Foundation has a history of forming partnerships with capable, competent and credible institutions. UNITA is honored to have KCB Foundation as a partner to advance the youth and women-led conflict resolution and entrepreneurship in Kenya and East Africa. Your successful work on ground with Kenyan youth and women groups across the country makes us confident that alongside UNITA, you will remain committed to the cause of achieving peace and stability and leaving nobody behind. Based on the success you have already recorded from your partnerships with the various local and international organizations over the years, we are certain that our partnership with your organization will have a remarkable and exemplary outcome.
And for a bank, for us, working through the foundation or working through Anastasia directly, it's about affordable and accessible credit. It's championing that, and I made this commitment to the president. We will continue to try and push to make sure that credit is affordable and accessible. And you don't do that on your own. You have to bring partners as part of our SDGs. You have to bring partners to the table, whether they are county governments, whether they are partners like United, the government, the national government on the table, but also as borders in this instance, I speak yourself, you have to come to the table. There is no need of giving you a bike and we fund and you start repaying, but you lose your life. And it's never about you, it's about other people that are purportedly careless, isn't it? But we are taught, you assume everybody else is mad, isn't it? And you take care of yourself.
Kenya has already developed a national automotive policy whose aim is to make Kenya a competitive automotive manufacturing hub through implementation of the various policy measures. And what you are seeing today fits within the big umbrella of the automobile industry. The policy is currently where the policy is objective is to promote local value addition in automobile manufacturing. And I'm happy to see already we are looking at local assembly of the motorcycle and also the larger automobiles in the country. To realize localization goal, the government has prioritized investment in this industry at completely knocked down levels where you get free entry into the country in terms of duties, because it offers more benefit to the economy, especially in terms of use of local inputs, technology transfer, and I'm excited to see a lot of R&D going into the development of this motorcycle, and of course creation of green jobs. Similarly, the government commitment to clean manufacturing, which is also being undertaken under the Manufacturing Africa initiative, which we are partnering as a ministry with the UK government, is also set towards creating of those green investments and jobs.
The motorcycle assemblers and the vendors, thank you so much. Unite Us team, both from Kenya and Geneva, led by Pius. And I know internationally it could be Pius. Really appreciated. Our valuable partners, GIC, MasterCard Foundation, Danida, Beautified Kenya, Development Corporation, and wider international. Thank you so much, and we still look for further collaboration to really make this impactful and to scale up. We wouldn't have achieved this milestone if it wasn't for the hard work from the organizing committee drawn from KCB Foundation, Retail, Credit, Marketing, Corporate Affairs, and Citizenship, and the branch network. Asanteni sana. We appreciate the hard work. I want to thank the media. I'm telling you, it had to take real, skill to make sure that you follow through our CEO and that he's balancing the bike. We appreciate you, the media, and all that you've done this afternoon. We also want to thank a very important team streaming all the way from Geneva. As we sit here, we have actually a team who are streaming in live and following our engagement. I cannot thank every one of you enough for this involvement and your willingness to take on the completion of this task that is actually going to change our livelihood. And coming out of your comfort zone, for you to be even able to see it and imagine and take 5 years to come up with this, we appreciate your work, dedication. We look forward to even deeper collaboration and partnership as we seek to grow sustainable businesses, jobs, and communities. For me, I want to say thank you so much from KCB Foundation, from KCB Bank, and from all the stakeholders, and we pray that may God bless our beloved country, Kenya. May God bless our partnership, and may God bless the work of our hands as we journey together to make sure that we are environmentally friendly and we are championing a green environment, and to ensure that we hand over a better country to the next generation. Asanteni sana, and may God bless you.